Right, just before we crack on with this episode, just a quick word about our sponsor, KS Civils and Groundworks Limited, based in Leeds. They have over 296 years of combined experience in civil engineering and groundworks. Led by Director Carl Smith, their team is known for honesty, reliability and commitment to the highest safety and quality standards. They're proudly ISO accredited and fully CHAS Elite accredited. No matter the size of your project, KS Civils and Groundworks delivers professional, trustworthy service you can rely on. To learn more, visit kscivilsandgroundworks.co.uk. Now let's dive back into this episode. Right, we're back. That was a bit weird. Anyone who's listening to this won't know what's happened, but my camera went off because the cat decided to pull the cable out, which is nice. The little shit. I should let her shut the door when I'm doing it.
Right.
So I mean, I can kind of get that. Newcastle, yeah. So I'll take it as a big disappointment when you got up here and there wasn't a Newcastle.
I can't really remember that part, but yeah, ever since then, like, all I ever wanted to do was be a soldier. Like, I wasn't interested at school. I joined cadets the second I was old enough.
Yeah.
I joined sort of every team, every weekend away. That was my pure focus because, like I say, I didn't care about school. All I wanted was to prep for joining the military.
Yeah. So what made you join the RLC then? Or was that like you were volunteered at a career centre type thing?
It was a bit of both. Originally, I wanted to go ammo tech, and I had a couple of other options. And originally, I joined as a port operator.
Oh, aye.
And then during phase 2, the cutbacks happened, and then me and another lad who got injured on the phase 2 course. Originally, we got told that once we finished the phase 2 course, we would basically go into rehab, sort our injuries out, and then join the regiment. But because of the cutbacks, we got RTU'd back to deep cut, and I think he went infantry, and I got given a choice. Either I could go driver because I'd already had my driver quals, or leave the army. And obviously, I was really keen at that point, and yeah, went driver.
That's harsh, that, isn't it, really, when you think about it?
Yeah.
I interviewed a guy last year who was down at 17 Port.
Yeah.
And, two actually. One of them used to be in the artillery.
Yeah.
And left the artillery under a bit of a cloud.
Yeah.
And a few years later, he joined the RLC, and he ended up, port operator.
Yeah.
And he's flown since then. He got the full screw in the RLC, and then he was due to get his sergeant, but he was like, "Nah, there's a bigger world out there, and I've got the qualifications," type of thing now.
Oh.
So he did that, and he runs his own engineering business and everything like that to deal with cranes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd never really thought, to me, joining the military, I was like most people of my time, and a lot of people I spoke to since, I wanted to join the Air Corps. You've seen helicopters and shit like that.
Yeah.
My walls were coming. I wanted to join the Air Corps. And I ended in the artillery because I'd have had to wait too long. So
yeah,
I was too eager to get in. I mean, I don't regret it.
Yeah.
But I wonder sometimes what could have been.
Yeah. I think I just wanted to just be in the military in general. And all I knew is I wanted to have some sort of qualification out of it, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, driver wasn't the original plan at all. But
so how did you find training? I mean, and a lot of guys I've spoke to who were in the cadets said it. Some say it helped them, and some say it hindered them. Because
I took a very different approach because we had another lad who was a Scottish lad, and he played I used to be a sergeant major, I know everything, I'm better than everyone else, and he had a very hard time.
Yeah.
Where I played dumb. So, say for example, weapon handling, I pretended that I didn't know everything. I kept messing it up, and then as soon as the test happened, I'd done it like that. And like my corporal in basic, he knew. He went, just the way you do drill, he went, you're in cadets. I was like, I'm not. And he got really annoyed about it. Because at the time I was under my mum's maiden name. And he checked Westminster, all the rest of it. I was invisible. I wasn't there. And after the past time he came up to us, he went, "You were in cadets, weren't you?" I was like, "Yeah, of course I was." He was like, "Well, I couldn't find you." I went, "Did you bother looking at my next of kin?" He was like, "What?" I went, "They all have different surnames to me." And he was like, "You little," because when I was in cadets, I was under my dad's surname. So when he was looking for me at the time, yeah, he couldn't find us at all. But yeah, like I said, this other lad, he played the big I am. I know everything because I was a sergeant major in cadets, and he made lots of enemies very quickly.
Yeah,
And
I can imagine.
got a hard time for it. But yeah, I like I say, I played dumb and just got on with it.
I mean, you've not had a simple upbringing already. Joining the military, did you find that a shock to the system? Did you find did it helped? It kind of stabilised you or whatever?
I still found it. Wait, it depends. Obviously, base training just going through. I always struggled with fitting in the army.
All right.
And a lot of it was I wasn't one of the gym freaks. I was never really into let's go out and get absolutely piss mortal drunk, smash up the local town, and pull one of the local women. Which obviously a lot of people, sort of young 20s, that's what they were into. So I never really sort of slot into that. So I found a lot of my military service more of an outcast. But like I say, at the time then, I didn't know about the autism diagnosis, which now makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
now I've started to understand it a lot better and put things in place. I just thought I was a weird sort of little goth in the army and just got on with it.
It's become apparent to me, again, since doing the podcast, that there's a lot of guys who were in service, whether the RAF, the
Yeah.
Navy, or the Army. I don't know why I put the RAF first there. That's what's the that suffered from autism, undiagnosed autism,
Yeah,
undiagnosed ADHD, and because the military teaches you or tells you to do everything,
yeah,
you know, where to go, where to be, what to wear, what time, this, that, and the other.
yeah.
It 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 kind of supersedes the autism side of things because you don't have to think about what you've got to do. You're being told you don't, and you don't. Bang, 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 and then it's
To an
later on.
extent, to an
Yeah,
extent, yeah. But I had some say issues through my career. And it was like, I say, for example, an average year, I'd have a 9 month period where I excelled at everything, not an issue. And then, say, for example, I'll make one little mistake one day. And as you do, got pulled for it. But I would then hyper focus on the mistake,
yeah,
which would then go into a ripple effect. And then I'll have a 2, 3, up to months of just not getting a grips with it.
yeah.
But obviously, I just thought I was messing up. And so did everyone around me. Now, looking back at it, it makes a lot more sense of why that was sort of a repeating cycle of every couple of years that would happen.
And of course, you know, people in the military aren't trained to recognise stuff like that.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't imagine they are now. I suppose it depends on whoever the person is in charge of you, or you know, in your rank structure, if
Yeah.
they've got that. But you know, we wouldn't have thought
Well,
about that.
also, obviously, with the whole sort of keeping myself to myself and not fitting in with
Yeah,
the sort of mainstream cliques and stuff, I don't think helps because there's majority of the people I wasn't sort of around all the time. I wasn't always knocking about and doing stuff with before screws in my spare time like a lot of the sections would do.
yeah.
I just kept myself to myself pretty much.
Did you find that not only made you feel a bit of an outsider, and they're treating you like an outsider? Did you experience any bullying because of that?
Um, I wouldn't necessarily say bullying, but sort of career wise, I would definitely say some discrimination because of it.
Right.
But obviously the people that get on well with your corporals and your sergeants and your staffies, they get put through stuff better, and the grey man sort of gets left behind, for example.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same in any walk of life, really.
Yeah, it is.
But
So
again,
I
it's
wouldn't
down
have said
to
bullying, but
again, it's down to I think it's down to the chain of command as well. That I've always found in the military, there's a lot of people who are too career focused.
yes,
You know, they worry about their career first before everybody else's.
yeah,
That's not. I'm not saying that's everyone. There's some really really good people out there that do it the other way around. You know,
yeah.
especially
See,
I've seen it.
See, I'd say in my time in the military, there was very defined two different halves of mentality. So, like the sort of first half when I was at 9 Reg, like it was you were a team, you looked out for each other. Like you would say, for example, like my corporals knew that I only went home once a month because Bristol to Newcastle was a bit of a trek.
Yeah.
So I would cover weekend duties, but pay weekend, I was untouchable because that's when I went home. Sort of that sort of looking after yourself and you do this for me, I do that for you, one in, all in sort of thing.
Yeah.
After coming back from my first tour, a lot of that changed. A lot of the sort of health and safety, wokeness, ag systems were not just in place, but they were actually being used then. Because we had ag before, but you didn't get, there was big boy rules. And then that sort of separated the unity, because it was, you then got ag that person then grasses on this person. There was no sort of unity, so to speak. It became very bickery.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I mean, to me, Agai was. Fucking still can't get my head around it. I don't know why they brought that thing in. You know, I'd have much
Like I
preferred
say,
the
it
old
went from
days.
the if you messed up, you got a shit job, to you mess up, you get written up, and then that goes on your record, and then
Yeah.
it didn't get left either. So their issue with you, your issue with them, seemed to just continue, which then escalated to more issues. And where beforehand, if you messed up, you took the punishment whether it was a shit job or extra duty, and then it was done, dusted.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
crack on.
it's, you know, I mean, it was there as well to stop the fact that, so like in my day, and you'd have probably seen it, I probably had the same thing, you know, you fucked up, you go, right, do you accept what my award?
Yeah,
And if this was before you got anywhere near fucking one for office or anything like that,
yeah,
so, do you accept me? Yeah, all right then,
yeah,
smack,
yeah,
right, I won't do that again.
yeah,
And that was it. It was over and done with. There was no animosity about it. In my day, you know, 80s up until the mid 90s, you probably
yeah.
expected that. And to be honest, I've fucking done it to people. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
fucked
but
up.
like I
There's a
say,
smack.
with that, as much as I understand the issues with this, when it had done, it was done.
Yeah,
It wasn't then animosity. There was, when that happened, you could shake hands, or you'd be mates again, or just be co-workers again. It was
yeah,
done, dusted. The issue that I saw was with the Agai system. As much as I understand the principle of why it got brought in, it then became onto, it wasn't done. So the animosity and the hostility between the individuals or whoever was involved would stay there.
yeah.
Which,
Or if anything, it was just prolonged until it was over with because it didn't, you know, it could take fucking ages.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah.
And
So
to me, it was stupid because the awards you were going to get was like, right, you're going to get 3 extras for being late. All right, I'll have
yeah,
3 extras. I won't do it again. Right,
yeah,
you get my guide. Right up, blah, 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 paperwork, blah, blah, blah. Right, you get 3 extras.
yeah,
Fucking hell, what a waste of time.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, fucking hell. But, hey,
Uh,
I suppose it is what it is, and there's nothing we could have done to
yeah,
change
it
it.
is.
You
But
know?
like I say, it went from sort of team unity to everyone was for themselves.
So,
That
I mean,
whole
how did you
dynamic.
find it coming from training and then into your first unit? Was that a bit daunting? Were you
Um,
prepared for it? Or
Obviously, it was a bit daunting, but I think a lot of that was, it was last minute retraining, getting just posted to the first place that would take me. Um, yeah, like I say, it was a bit daunting. I think stuff like, Night Reg itself is an old RAF base. Like the accommodation, I remember measuring my room; it was 2 meters by 3 meters. Like we had the old sort of green mattress single beds that were tiny,
yeah,
and you had to open your door, which hit your bed, step through to close your door. Like it wasn't, it was barely a room. Um, that was quite a culture shock. But like I say, you then end up settling in. But like I say, when I first got to my first unit, the unit themselves were a group inside and outside of work. Whether it was in the blocks, and like my first night, I had about 5 people knock on my door to introduce themselves and say, "How are you? Come to our room for a bit." Introduced to the block. Where later, say one of them went 5 men from my last posting, I moved into the block. No one knew I was there. No one came to say hello. Everyone just went in their rooms and locked the doors behind them.
And I think that culture's, I mean, I've had a few conversations with people. That's the culture in the military now. They finish
Yeah,
work, go to the rooms, stay there all night. There's not that camaraderie that there
yeah,
used to be. And then I've spoken to people who are serving now, and I
yeah,
said, we see it that way. And they're like, that's only half true. We're still a team. We're still focused on each other. It is that people do go in the rooms and sit on the phones and
yeah,
PlayStations and stuff like that, but they still go out partying and this,
yeah,
that. There's not that much difference between guys I've interviewed who joined the military in 1964 up
yeah,
until now. There's still the core still there. There's still fucking lunatics who join the
yeah.
military and like to get drunk and have a good time. And
Aye,
I'm saying I was guilty of that. Might have been a little bit,
yeah,
um, but I think that society's changed, and it was round about that time that you're on about. Coming up to I got out in 2012, and I started seeing a big change. Then I was
yeah.
quite glad that I was leaving.
Well, that was
Uh,
about the time actually, because I just came back off Herrick 13, which was back in 2011. So it was about that time when the shift happened.
yeah, I mean, here's a question for you. I thought I should have asked. So you joined like 2008.
Yeah,
All the shit was going on.
yeah.
Iraq was going on, Afghan was going on. Did you give that any thought when you joined up? Did
No,
you did you think, oh, because literally you were going to join up sometime in the next 18 months, you were going to go to, combat operations, if you want a better word. But you never give that a thought when you joined.
not particularly. Like, obviously, I knew it was a factor, but it wasn't an incentive or a deal breaker.
Hmm.
It was just, obviously, I always wanted to join the army. Join the army, there's stuff going on. So, yeah, it was, I saw it as a way it's part of the job.
Yeah.
It's like telling, I don't know, a logistics person that, were you ever concerned about driving a truck? It's part of the job. It just, yeah,
I mean, I've spoken to someone recently, and we were talking about, my time in the military and stuff like
yeah,
that, and they've got no comprehension of the military at all.
yeah,
At all. Never been anywhere near it. And I was talking about stuff like, counter bombardment in Iraq and people
yeah,
and things like that, and this, that, and the other, and walking down the streets in Ireland, and they were just like, "You're talking about it as though it's nothing." I said, "Well, kind of is nothing to us. Because you were trained to do it for a start, and it, it's your job.
yeah,
It's like I don't know how to put it really. I mean, I work in IT now, so if I go into work in the morning
yeah.
and the fucking world's burning, it's my job to fix it."
I also think
Yeah.
more once you're in, I think a lot of it is to do with the people around you.
Yeah.
If it, if your say whole squadron is full of absolute idiots, you're going to be worried and concerned that you're going
Yeah.
out there. If you know that the majority of the people you're going out with are good switched on people, that alone you don't think twice about it because it's not raising the concern of I'm going out with these people. I
Yeah.
had that with a couple of individuals that I was going out with, but you get that everywhere.
So what was it like when you first turned up there? What was the next stage for you? Uh,
Um, so yeah, it was just obviously average sort of driver stuff, vehicle maintenance. Obviously, I'd done all that. The first big real one. So I arrived. I think it was October. My first deployment, which was in the UK, believe it or not, was I think it was back in November same year. And I don't know if you remember, but I think it was 2009 in Carlisle. A bridge got wiped out in a flood with a copper on it who died.
yeah. Yeah.
And obviously the engineers got brought in to build a bridge to link them. We supplied them with all the equipment. And that was a big jump. It was an
Yeah.
18-year-old. Here's a wagon, driver's hours out the window. It was treated, and it was classed as an operation.
Yeah.
And I think that was quite an eye opener because that was chucked to the deep end.
Yeah, we were sending guys from the regiment to fill sandbags up, basically.
Yeah,
Everybody got called in, and
yeah,
because we were just down the road. I say down the road, it's like almost the middle of the country, really. We were 30 odd, 40 mile away from
yeah.
where it is.
But
And then
yeah,
I
it's
got
like as an
called in and said off, yeah.
8-year-old, we're sort of near Swindon to then drive all the way up to where the army college is,
Harrogate.
up to Harrogate, and then
Yeah.
across the Pennines by yourself in a big military wagon with all this heavy equipment and just go non-stop. Like I say, it was that was a sort of test by fire, so to speak. So yeah, it's all right.
I mean, I've seen, you just said there, like drivers hours out of the window. I've been on some exercises where there was no drivers hours out. I think it was before, like they were really strict on them.
Yeah,
And we had guys driving Ford limbers, so it's
yeah,
like a fucking massive truck with a gun on the back,
yeah,
and I was driving a Land Rover with a trailer on. I didn't even have a license at the time.
yeah,
It was classed as my driver training, and I'm going up the M40 and stuff like
yeah,
that. And I fucking remember this forever. Everyone was that tired. We were having people driving up embankments and back down again and carrying on.
yeah,
And I looked over. I wasn't driving at this point. I was in the passenger seat. And I looked over at the lad who was driving and I smiled at him. And he goes, "What are you smiling at?" I said, "That penguin." He says, "What?"
yeah,
I said, "There's a fucking penguin running by the side of the Land Rover in the outside lane."
yeah,
And I could see it. It was just
yeah.
delirium type of thing. And I can still see it in my eyes now. The fucking penguin like winking at me, running
Oh,
down the side of the motorway. It's crazy. So it's good that we do have drivers hours now. You know what I mean?
well,
But
yeah. I think, especially with that one, with it being so heavily covered in British press and media,
yeah,
like I say, it was just before Christmas. A copper had died on the bridge that got wiped out in the flood. Like the press were all over that like a tramp on chips. So there was a lot of. There was far too many chefs to make that soup. Let's put it that way.
well, I mean there's a lot of stuff like that in there.
Yeah.
That happens quite a lot. So what was how long was it before you went on your first like overseas deployment to like was it Iraq or Afghanistan
Yeah,
or
I did Afghan twice. So the first one was Herrick 13, which
yeah.
was 2010 to 2011. Um, that was a really shit tour, just in general. So obviously you do your whole build up to deploy, all the rest of it, and then basically we spent the whole 6 months stuck in Bastion, shuttling round cargo that came off the planes to wherever they're going. Um, we lost 2 lads that tour as well, but by a freak accident. Um, yeah, so that was a pretty shit tour. 'Cause like I say, you spend all that time getting all your training, preparing, obviously, to do what you're supposed to do out on tour, and then yeah, we just didn't.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean the thing is you've got a job to do.
well,
So
yeah,
you were
there's
there to
still
do
that
your job.
aspect of it, but
Yeah.
like that, even this was before the attack on Bastion. It was like we
Yeah.
were like I saw my weapon once a month when we took it out of the ISO container to clean it. Like it was boring and mundane, so to speak. Yes, obviously it was very crucial for the supply line. But like I say, when you spend best part of a year
No, I
building your
get what you're
fitness,
saying.
building your
Yeah.
knowledge, preparing to basically go into a war zone, and then to be walking around with your hands in your pockets, dropping off the post to the posties so they can send it to the right people, or do water deliveries around Bastion, it's very anticlimactic. Yes, it's important, but yeah, it was a
I mean the thing is it's gonna affect you as well, because I mean it would me if that had have happened to me. I'd have been I'm lucky I never did Afghan. And I say
yeah,
I'm lucky. I'm really glad I didn't do Afghan.
yeah,
But a couple of tours were right, Bosnia Island and stuff like that. But I, I'll put it this way. I remember us getting deployed to the Gulf in 2003. The regiment
yeah,
was warned off. And the guys who were told they were staying behind, they were distraught
yeah,
because they wanted to go. They wanted
yeah.
not so much like to go into action. So going, right, they wanted to be with the lads.
Well,
They
I
wanted to
think
be
that's
with their
a big.
lads.
I think that's a big difference with the mentality back then, especially when I first joined,
Hmm.
compared to my second half of my career. The first half, everyone wanted to go together, and no one wanted to be left behind, because if my mates are going, I'm going with them, was the mentality. The second half of my career was very much if they go, fine, I don't want to go. I'll be alright. I can go see my girlfriend at the weekend. So that's the shift in mentality.
I think also that maybe it had gone on that long that people were weary, they were tired. For a lot of units, there was a fucking quick turnaround between being out on one herrick and then another.
Nine Reds did quite a few tours, and one of their squadrons literally was deployed 6 on, 6 off, because they dealt with the special, because it was a supply regiment. They dealt with the specialist medical stuff. So literally, they did 6 on, 6 off, 6 on, 6 off. But when I was there, in total, I think the regiment did about 6, 7 tours in 4.5 years.
So that's a lot.
But that does vary from the supplies going out to CLPs to doing the stuff in Bastion. There was pretty much always at least one of the 4 squadrons were deployed.
Yeah. It was the same in the last regiment I was in. There was always a battery deployed with their MLRS.
But the mentality was everyone wanted to go.
Yeah.
And whether it was financial or whatever, obviously there is a big financial advantage of being deployed. So a lot of people wanted to go for that, and then obviously a lot of people wanted to go because, well, their mates were going, they've been left behind, they don't want to be left behind. I think the regiment as a whole deployed twice while I was there, in full.
And that was to Bastion.
Yeah, because it was despite being a driver, it was a supply regiment, so they took over all the supply, whether it was vehicles, ammunition, medical, post. They took over everything.
So we're fucking busy then.
Oh yeah, no, don't get me wrong, we're busy. Like when our first tour, when we were driving troop, every individual bit of equipment that came into Bastion, we physically moved. Whether it was bullets, bombs, post, absolutely everything that came off plane, we moved it.
I mean, it's like you said then, you were disappointed that you were stuck in Bastion all the time. But and then we both said the same thing, the fucking we can't work without everybody else. So
Yeah. No. You understand the importance of the role.
Yeah.
But like I say, you spent best part of the year, from my point of view, was for doing convoys, ambush drills, clearing routes, and then you go from that to just doing shuttle runs.
I mean, I seen something on. I can't remember if it was TikTok. Fucking hell, it might have been one of yours. I don't know. That somebody had come up. You were on the RLC or something like that, and they were saying basically, yeah, but how many miles did you drive?
Yeah.
Type of thing, to the fobs, to this, that, to the other. Them convoys that I get through, and the convoys got hit a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas people kind of concentrate on, the war stories of the guys in the fobs out on the feet, on patrol and stuff like that. The infantry and forward observers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there was fucking danger everywhere. Even like fucking, earlier on in Iraq, even in Iraq when it calmed down, the convoys just still got to move. I look back all the way back to like 95 in Bosnia and the convoys there. And obviously we were out there in the UN trying to get the humanitarian aid through. But also our supplies had to come through.
Yeah.
And they would get stopped and they would get ambushed and they would get mined. And that was in fucking Bosnia.
Yeah. But like I say, that's what we had prepped for, dealing with all that, to then basically just do little shuttle runs in Camp Bastion. Like I say, we saw our weapons once a month to take them out the armory to clean them. Or it might have been every week. So it went from prepping to deal with that level of...
Yeah, so it's like anticlimactic. Like you said, it's...
I think the hardest part of it is it was quite mind-numbingly boring.
Yeah. Because you're doing the same job you're doing back in camp almost, but you can't nip out downtown.
Yeah.
For the pints, you can't nip up on the weekend.
Pretty much.
There's that as well, yeah.
Yeah. So, but like I say, obviously we prepared to do our military role in combat environment, and it turns out we were just basically doing the local shuttle runs from different depots in Bastion.
Yeah. I mean,
Like I
I
say, it's
don't know
important.
how big.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know how big
important, but
Bastion was.
it's a decent size, like.
Yeah. I've
Uh,
obviously not been there. I have no idea if it was like a bit bigger than a normal camp. I can imagine it was fucking massive, to be honest.
yeah, it was. But the thing is, it had Bastion 1, 2, 1.5, 3, Leatherneck, which was the Yanks. So yeah, it was a decent size, like, but yeah.
So what was it like coming back from there then? I mean, you've already felt deflated that you've never got up so much.
Well, we lost 2 of our lads on that tour, believe it
Oh,
or
right,
not.
okay.
And one of them was my best mate. So that obviously caused a lot of issues.
Hmm.
So basically, our troop work tent caught on fire in the middle of the night, went up in flames. One of the 3 people got out alive.
Oh, fucking hell.
And the weird thing is like the night before, the Fijians had put a barbecue on for us because obviously we had all the supply networks. We had a bit of a shindig. And so Hutchie, who was my mate who died, he was from Spennymoor. He wasn't a very good ideal soldier. He was short, he was fat, he couldn't run a PFT if he tried. But when it came to trade knowledge, it was all over like a tramp on chips, and he was a fat Geordie. Like he was the banter, the laughs,
Yeah.
the morale. So he wasn't your typical picture of a soldier. Like I say, he was short, fat. Like you asked him what to do with PFT, he's got stopped 3 times to spew up because he ate a kebab the night before. You know what I mean? He was one of them ones. But trade knowledge, he was all over it, and he was just pure morale. But yeah, so he was one of the people I was closest with. I knew all his family because obviously he used to basically be my lift home. And yeah, and it was Valentine's Day as well, which later on became an issue because it's a day of the year that's very publicised and you can't hide from. So obviously it was dealing with all that. And when it came to say the mental health side of it and the implications, because of the type of tour that we did, I didn't feel like I'd earned the right to have PTSD.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So my PTSD is classed as survivor's guilt. So
Yeah, I
I
was
came
going to
out
say, it
feeling,
sounds like survivor syndrome. Yeah.
but like I say, we never saw combat apart from the range here and there. We never fired a bullet. Like it's the safest tour physically possible. So I struggled for years with just accepting that it was okay for me to have it. Because, like I
Yeah.
say, you had lads getting blown up, lads watching their mates getting torn to shreds, who, as horrible as it sounds, earned the right to have PTSD.
I had this conversation with somebody at the weekend, right? And I know I touched on it earlier before we started recording,
Yeah,
so I won't go into that too
yeah,
much. But he has the same opinion of himself.
yeah,
And as I explained to him, PTSD doesn't fucking care what you've done,
yeah,
right? It's the trauma that you've suffered. And one person's trauma could mean fuck all to somebody else,
yeah,
right? So for him to turn around and say to me, I haven't got it. Well, I said, well, you have,
yeah,
but you've got it. You've got it from not what you think you've got it from.
yeah. See,
Everybody who joins the military is susceptible to it.
I knew I had it, and I did go through treatment, all the rest of it, but it was like I felt generally ashamed for it because it was like I didn't feel like I earned those stripes to say I've got PTSD from the military because, like I say,
Yeah.
it was a safe tour. It's not like I say, I've been blown up, I've been shot at. That you know what I mean. So when you obviously mention PTSD, and then obviously there's people with the combat PTSD, it almost felt like I wasn't worthy to be put in any sort of similar bracket to them. Obviously, I've come to terms with it now, but for many years that was a very big personal issue.
I mean, the sad fact is, as well, as much as the individual feels as though, how can I put this? They're not deserving of that label,
Yeah,
all right? And they are. Everybody, fucking everyone suffers from it. PTSD
yeah,
doesn't have to be about this, that, and the other. It's a
yeah,
very large fucking
yeah,
area it covers. But You say to someone like when you're serving them and you look back and we weren't very good at it, right? Even then towards the end of my time, we weren't very good at it. And if you thought somebody was suffering or they got diagnosed with it, you fucking avoided them.
Yeah.
You just did. Or you compared him who was like he's got PTSD, like you said, because he was a firefighter and this and that. He's got PTSD because he fucking stubbed his toe and he got denied access to something or whatever, or he got shouted at. You know, that trauma that happened to that person is equally as bad as what's happened to them.
I think it's taken a lot of growing up and just life experience and being older and wiser to realise that. But like I say, it's sort of early 20s, pushing through most of towards my 30s, that doesn't register.
No.
You know what I mean?
I listened to a comment on a podcast by the Unconventional Soldier. And if you don't know that podcast, look it up. It's really, really good. And I'm always plugging it on here. And they were on about early on in their career where they'd come back from an island tour and shit had happened over there. There was the IEDs and people had been killed and stuff like that. Sniper attack and stuff. And they had a couple of guys in the block who were what we'd probably call night tremors or whatever.
Yeah, night terrors, stuff like that.
Yeah, night terrors, that's it. I got my words wrong then. Night terrors. And the way they dealt with it was to move them out of their room and move them down the end of the block so they're away from everybody.
Yeah.
And as I was saying now, the guilt they feel about that all these years later, because we didn't know what it was. We had no idea. Or we didn't experience it, or nothing was explained to you. I've seen guys when I was first joined up, and they acted weird. They acted a bit strange, and you were like, you just kind of accepted it. But there were probably, they had issues that they didn't know. We can identify all these things now, and I hope that the military at the moment is a lot better at noticing. And I don't mean just like the sergeant majors and the officers and stuff like that. I'm on about like the lance chaps, the full screws, the other privates, gunners, sappers, whatever you want to call them, that can identify it in each other. The amount of people I've spoken to recently who, again, on the podcast, that when I've been talking to them beforehand or I've been talking to them about coming on it, and I've gone like, you've got, the more people you see, the more experience you get, and you go like, you need help.
Yeah.
And people still now, even with all the advent of old mental health awareness and stuff like that, people are still reluctant to reach out because it's scary. It was for me when I did it. I was like,
I think I think a lot of it for me was being able to be same as like the autism and all the rest of it, was being able to admit it to myself.
Yeah.
So therefore, I could deal with it properly instead of just burying it under a rock and getting off. It's like I got med discharge. A lot of it came down to I had a small few niggle injuries early on my career that I never dealt with. I did what everyone done. Pop some ibuprofen and paracetamol and just crack on with it.
Yeah, because that's what we were like.
And then down the line, obviously, I suffered for it, and now I've got health issues because of it. And I think it's the same sort of thing as, like I say, stuff like that. You, especially in your early 20s, you don't talk about that. You bury it because of.
But you don't think it's something. You don't think it's you. You don't think that's not going to happen to me.
Yeah, and I think, like, especially that sort of age, like I wouldn't speak to people about my mental health for sure. Because the last thing you wanted to do was people to look down on you. It's the same reason why you even if it was, say, like a little niggle injury, you wouldn't go to the med centre, you just crack on with it, and then, hey-ho, 10 years down the line, you've got serious problems.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, have I ever. So what was your second tour like then? You said you'd been out twice.
Yeah, so the second tour was very similar. So it was stuck in Bastard again, but we got rushed out halfway through Herrick 17 to help with the backloading of all the vehicles.
Right.
So it was ridiculous. Basically, like, we had to clean all the wagons down. You think you've got, say, a Mastiff. You got a Mastiff that's been out on the ground for 6 years. Basically, you've got to clean it. The civvies will come up to it and go, it's still dirty. until they cleared it, you then have to give it a special chemical wash so it was safe to come back to the UK. Well, yeah, that was another pretty crap tour, but I
Fucking
think a
hell, that
lot.
would have been mind-numbing.
Well, yeah, I think we were the only people in the whole of Afghanistan to go down with dermatitis by being stuck under a jet wash for 12 hours.
Fucking, I mean, I've seen it where we couldn't bring vehicles back from certain places, and you just like, are you taking a piss? Oh yeah, there
Well,
could be contamination. Like, you're just like, well, fucking leave him here then.
well, it's like we had to clean like the engine bays of like CVRT small tanks, and these civvies were going like that inside of a tank engine bay, going, it's dirty. Like, and so to clean them up to their standards, we were literally destroying engine bays and engines of CVRTs with a jet wash, which would then piss Reed off because they'd have to fix it before we could get it inspected again. And by that point, we'd have to clean it again. Like, it was ridiculous.
I mean, it's just, I suppose it's one of them things, but
But
fucking
like I
hell,
say,
yeah.
it was the people that had to sign them off for civilians, and obviously it was they don't want to bring any contaminate or sort of local diseases or anything back or stuff like that. So they
Fucking.
basically had to be like bio level cleaned in the middle of a desert.
Oh, I mean, honestly, we had the same thing. We were sending vehicles out of Canada, and they had to be fucking immaculate, and we were going to be using them when they got out there.
Yeah,
But yeah, and then you go to Poland where you can drop your oil on the grass and everything.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
totally different. No, not that we
Not
damage
that
the
we do
environment while
stuff
we
like
were in
that. Yeah,
Poland. We wouldn't do that. No, 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 no. I've got to change your oil. Just fucking pull us up, plug. I'll give you all right.
yeah.
Drive away from it. Dig a
Prove it.
little up and put some. Yeah.
Right.
Well, apart from the trail of oil all the way back, what I mean.
Well, if you
Yeah,
went fast enough, we wouldn't lead in a straight line.
yeah. So I mean, you touched on the you were medically discharged. I mean, was that soon after your last tour, or
No, so I got posted after that. I got sent up to 5 men Catterick.
right?
But
And you said that was a very different portion. You sound as though you didn't enjoy that one.
yeah, there's a lot of few things. I think also by that point I was getting to, like I'd say, I'd been in for about 6 years at that point. Because I think went up there back end of 2014. By that point, obviously, I was maxed out as a private. I wanted to progress.
Yeah.
But due to years prior not looking after injuries and stuff, I was in and out of being downgraded and rehabilitations and stuff like that. So a lot of the things I wanted to do, I couldn't do because I wasn't promoted. And then it got to the point where I ended up signing off because I'd had enough, because I'd watched too many new young lads or lasses come in, take over something that I'd been doing for the best part of a year, get amazing reviews on their annual inspections, and then basically get promoted off my hard work, all because I could run around a PFT track.
Yeah.
Um,
I get you. I had a fucking very similar fucking career, mate. To be honest.
yeah, so like I say, after a while, it gets quite frustrating. It's like when I was at 5 Med, it went from a medical regiment to an armoured medical regiment. So every single vehicle got replaced.
Yeah.
And I got put in the vehicle stores. I sorted it all out. I got all the paperwork up and running for a ridiculous amount of stuff. And like I say, 2-3 weeks before the inspection, got swapped out. And then the person they put in it picked up a promotion because it was such a fantastic job. And it happened several times over my career. And I was like, you know what, I've had enough now. So I did all my resettlement, and all I had left to hand back was my ID card, my room key, and my vehicle pass. And it was the day before I was meant to leave. Got a phone call. Can you come to Sergeant Major's office? Like, I had a full-on beard, no uniform, nothing. Like, I was done.
Yeah.
And she was a medic sergeant major. She was like, "Do you want the good news or the bad news?" I was like, "Oh, fuck it, good news." Sorry, bad news. I said first. She went, "You're not leaving the army tomorrow."
Right. Okay.
I was sort of sitting there going like, I've done a full year's worth of resettlement, I've done the courses, I've done the final medicals, I've handed my uniform back, like, I can't do anything. I was like, all right then. And I was like, right, Christ, what's the good news? She went, basically I got P0, sent home on medical leave. I was like, why? And they went, we should never have authorised your request to terminate. I was like,
Right.
okay. I was like, why? And they went, because I've been downgraded for 2 years solid, they should have started the PAP 10 med discharge process
Yeah.
before I even had a chance to sign off. And supposedly, which was oblivious to me, if they had let me leave the following day, I could have sued.
So they should have kept quiet.
Well, yeah, so I wouldn't know. So I think that was March, and I didn't end up leaving till August.
So they just sent you home when you were like on gardening leave until.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, I couldn't do anything. Like,
Yeah.
I'd medically been obviously signed off, done my final medical. I had no
Yeah.
military kit because it'd all been handed back and done. I couldn't actually do anything.
I mean, how did you feel about that? Because I don't know how I'd feel. It's like,
It obviously is a bit sort of insane because, like I
yeah,
say, it was literally the day before I was ready to leave. Um, but apart from, say, the occasional home visit that they had to do to tick boxes, it didn't make much difference to me
yeah,
because the way I'd worked with resettlement is I spent the last 3 months of that year at home anyway.
Hmm.
So I'd saved everything at the end. The idea was I just come back, have the last few bits and gone. But yeah, that was a bit of a surprise.
So did it work out more beneficial for you, or?
Uh, Not really, and I think a lot. So obviously, I got rushed through the med discharge system. But they had me down for arthritis and shin splints. So
Fucking
I
shit.
basically got med discharge on the lowest level possible, deferred pension, small payout. Um, and then obviously when I transferred over to the NHS, they changed the diagnosis to fibromyalgia.
Right.
Because they went, there's just too many joints to be affected, and the fact of I can have days where I'm walking around fine, and then I can have days where I can't physically sit up by myself. It's just not doable. Um, so they basically medically ripped me off being allowed to work because I had all my HGV and lorry licenses and dangerous goods.
Which you were planning on doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'd done like the fuel strike training in 2012. I could have quite easily walked into a fuel tanking job. But yeah,
And
so
that's fucking good money as well.
yeah, so they basically medically ripped me off because I wouldn't surrender all my licenses.
So I
Uh,
mean, so the outcome of that is, can you fucking sue the MOD?
so
Misdiagnosis or whatever?
I tried. So obviously, you know the way it works. So once you leave the army, you then claim for your injury.
Hmm.
I did the application, got rejected. I then got it was veterans, somebody involved. They came out, went through all my med records, highlighted everything, posted it away to them, got rejected. No proof of injury because it wasn't wear and tear injury, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it wasn't I got run over, I fell off something, I'm blown up. Basically, they denied all responsibility for it. So I was sort of like, well, why did you medically discharge me? But yeah, they basically kept palming me off to the point where I got fed up and the mental strain of going through it all. Like I say, I got rejected, I think it was 3 times in total. But like I say, I had the proper people involved supporting me, fill out all the paper, going, like, it's all there, black and white, highlighting it, going, yeah, you've got a good case to stand on. For the MOD just turn around and go, nah.
You know, it's the fucking hell. You know, I mean, I've got a hearing claim in at the moment, and I'd never give it much thought, to be honest. I mean, I left the army. I was downgraded as well for fucking hell, probably 15 years or
Yeah,
so. Again, shin splints.
yeah,
Thank you very much. And when I started getting shin splints, I was just told, right, you've got to lose weight. Light duties for fucking 2 weeks.
yeah,
Lose weight. And I'm like, all right, fine.
yeah,
Start running again in 2 weeks' time, and it's back again. You
yeah,
know, so I had like full-on compartment syndrome where when I got to see the doctor in the end, and it was like I'd had it for like fucking I don't know 10 years or something like that.
yeah,
And I went to see the doctor in Catterick, and he just like went, right, drop your trousers. I went,
yeah,
I've just met you. So drop your kicks, and he looked at my legs and he just went, right, see them 2 lumps on your legs? I said,
Yeah.
yeah, on my shins. He goes, that's a hernia. He goes, the sheath around your muscle at the front is split. He says, basically, your body's too tall for your legs.
Yeah.
I've got short legs. He goes, they're like tree trunks.
Yeah.
There's too much muscle on them, basically.
Yeah.
So it caused this. I could never fucking run.
Yeah.
But I ended up with so I got down. I was P3 for that, and then after they give me the fasciotomy on both legs, it felt great. But I ended up with gangrene,
Yeah.
which didn't help.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting. I think I was P7
Yeah.
for the rest of my time, basically.
Yeah.
Wasn't supposed to deploy. Fucking did. You know, I deployed to Iraq and places and that, and
Yeah.
I didn't do PT. And I used to excel at annoying the PTIs. So
Yeah.
why aren't you doing PT? Because I don't fucking want it.
Yeah.
You know, I must admit, I made it a little game for the rest of my career
Yeah.
to avoid the gym. Let's say, you know, but if I was doing something that I enjoyed,
Yeah.
which was tug of war, and I did tug of war to Army and Combined Service standards, you know, and it was very, you know, they said, how can you do that, but you can't run? I said,
Yeah.
because I'm not running. You know, it's a
But
very
it was like me.
different
It's like
set of skills.
I couldn't do impacts, so I couldn't
Yeah,
physically do the running. But you could put me on a cross trainer or a row machine for an hour, I could do it.
yeah,
And I think a lot of that came down to the PTI's attitude, because a lot of them, the second they saw the sick note, they didn't care what was written on it.
yeah.
And I think that had a big part of play on it, because a lot of them have the god complex of, well, you're going to do what I say because it's my gym and my hair looks better than yours, so you'll do as you're told.
I mean, we all say stuff like gym queens and everything like that, but I mean,
But
it's
don't get me wrong, that wasn't all of them.
they've
There's
got
some,
jobs to do. You know what I
and
mean?
a couple of really good ones, but the majority of them stereotypically fall under that bracket where,
Yeah, of course it did.
like, they
Oh,
didn't take your written rehabilitation plan seriously. Like, they wouldn't even pay attention to it. It didn't matter if it said you can't do something. They'd try to get, like, they would borderline force you to try and do it anyway, and they didn't. They didn't care. They
no.
just wanted you on mainstream PT, so they look good, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I just fucking avoided them in the end.
Yeah.
I was doing what was I doing? I think it was the last BFT I did. I don't think it's not even called BFT now, is it? And we went off. We did the first half, and this was
Yeah.
like just coming up towards me getting downgraded to P3. Went off, did the run, the fucking first 15 minutes. We got back to the gym. It was at Lark Hill. That was right here. We got back to the gym, and they went, right, individual effort, go. So they
Yeah.
all went off, and I turned fucking right and walked in the gym. And where are you going? I'm going in there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go put the kettle on if I can find one. He was
Yeah.
like, well, I'll have to put you down as a fucking did not return or whatever. I said, I don't
Yeah.
fucking put you down as what? I don't care.
But it was like for my final deployment, I technically shouldn't have gone it. Like, my fitness stuff was
Yeah.
bodged to hell. Like, I didn't, my 8 miler, I didn't pass. They paper passed me, and the 3 miler that you do a mile and a half as a squad and the mile and a half best effort. Like, they knew that my whole body was strapped up with back supports, with knee braces, and I was medicated far too much than I should have been. They didn't care because I passed. And they then signed me off, knowing that sign off meant I was deploying.
You've just reminded me of a conversation that happened a few years later. So the last tour of Iraq, I went on. I shouldn't have gone really because
Yeah.
I was downgraded.
Yeah.
But years later, I was talking to a guy who a lot higher ranked than me, and I won't go too much into detail in
Yeah.
case anyone recognises who I'm on about. But he basically turned around and said to me, he goes, "You know, you had to go on that tour," and I was like, "That tour fucked me up."
Yeah.
I said for lots of reasons. I says, but he goes, no, you had to go. He goes, we needed somebody in the ops room
Yeah.
who could do what you do. So
Yeah.
nowhere were you getting out of it. You were going, whether
Yeah.
you were carried out there on a stretcher, you were going.
Yeah.
Because I didn't leave camp. You know, I was like you say, you go out to Iraq, you do all the training and stuff like that. I went out there, never left camp.
Yeah.
Not once. Not once did I leave camp. But that wasn't my job to leave
Yeah.
camp. You know, it was.
Yeah. I think with
It was
mine,
shit.
I think one of the issues is when we were doing all the training, we got told we were going out doing convoys.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until like the week before, as we got out there, we then got told you're not doing that anymore. So I think that's a big one for the letdown aspects.
I mean, that's happened. That happens a lot.
Yeah,
There was 6 of us got deployed from the regiment we were in at the time, 3RHA,
yeah,
and we were out in Jamaica on exercise at the time, and we come back on a Thursday night.
yeah,
We'd been kind of warned off while we were in Jamaica, saying, right, you've been earmarked to deploy
yeah,
to Bosnia, but don't worry about it, it won't happen. Right,
yeah,
okay. Thursday night, we got back into camp. Friday morning, we went to the armory, picked our weapons up, give them a clean,
yeah,
and handed them back into the armory, as you do. And I remember walking across the gun park to went back towards the armory, army weapon in,
yeah,
and the battery commander pulled up next to me and goes, where are you going with that?
yeah,
And I'm like, I'm taking it into the armory. And he's like, take it to the guard room. You're going to Bosnia on Monday morning. And then
yeah,
drove off. And I was like, right, okay, I better go home and tell the wife.
yeah,
But we were told we were going out there as signallers.
yeah,
So we were all quite looking forward to it. It'd be, a good job. And when we got down to the regiment we were going out with, they just went, right, welcome. There's your ambulances over there. We were
yeah,
like, what? What the fuck are you on about? We're signallers. No, your ambulance commanders, get over there.
yeah.
And we were like, what the hell? So shit happens, doesn't it? Things change, and you have to adapt to it and
I think
stuff.
it does, but like when you're there, it's happening. You just get on with it.
Yeah.
But I think obviously looking back, actually, it did have effects and stuff like that. That at the time you don't even stop to think about and process.
No. But when it's like you say, it's later on in your life there,
Yeah,
you start to appreciate the way things have happened and the
because it's even like little
consequences
things.
of
Like
it.
when I was at night reg the first time, I had this corporal. He was a very vertically challenged corporal with no hair. Um, so he came across as a very angry little man.
Yeah.
And it's not until I've grown up and looked back that I always thought that he was gunning for me. I thought that he just didn't like me, so he was after me. So, as a young adult, what do? You fight back.
Yeah. You push back, yeah.
And looking back at it now, and I messaged him a little while ago, is actually he saw something in me and he was pushing me harder than everyone else to try and develop me. I was just too young and arrogant to appreciate it.
Hmm.
But it's the same thing looking back at it now. Like I say, back then I hated the bloke. I thought he was a horrible piece of work and I thought he just had it in for me. No, he saw something and in his way he was trying to light this spark because he saw potential in me where he didn't in others, but I saw it as victimization at the time. But like
Yeah.
I say, it's the same thing. A lot of it.
Or he's using that as an excuse now.
No,
Sorry,
but it
I
was
should
me
have said
that
that for me.
it was me that realised it, sort of
Yeah.
growing up, becoming a parent, maturing. That nothing he was doing was technically horrible. He was just trying to push me harder because he was trying to get the best me out of me.
Yeah.
It was me that took it the wrong way and didn't actually appreciate any of it until it was too late.
I
But
mean, normally now we'd go on about how you felt about your transition into the military, but out of the military, but you've already touched on that. How so? You spent a long time at home on gardening leave, let's call it,
yeah,
and then when you
um,
were finally released, I
yeah,
mean, during your gardening leave, you had a lot more time to transition into Civvy Street, really?
yeah. So at the
Um,
time, I was doing like agency work, driving stuff like that. Obviously, getting used to civilian operations, planning to go full time. But like I say, when my diagnosis changed, that all went out the window.
yeah,
So basically, I became full time dad, um, which worked out quite well because it took a while for us to realise. But I've got 3 kids with complex additional needs,
right.
uh, which varies from autism to OCD to ADHD to physical issues.
Mhm.
And it worked quite well. So my 2 boys, when they were a lot younger, between the two of them, they would have about 45 minutes sleep a night. And
Fucking hell.
with obviously their additional needs, they have no concept of danger. They couldn't communicate. One of them, out of frustration, would self harm. like headbutt stair gates because he couldn't physically communicate. So out of anger and frustration, he would headbutt it. And like, I mean, proper headbutt it. It was like black,
Yeah.
blue, and yellow. And when we got social involved, eventually, because obviously there was the scare of they're going to see him and take them away. When they came, obviously, they could see with the placement of the injuries that it was all self-inflicted. Like, we had to get specialist stair gates and sort of reinforced windows where they could access them, and like the special stair gates had like the special coating around them so he couldn't physically hurt himself. But the kids were like non-stop on the go, 24/7. Like I say, we on average they would have about 45 minutes sleep between the two boys, and
Fucking
they
hell,
could.
that must be soul destroying on you.
And like you couldn't leave them unattended because, like I say, they got no concept of danger, anything like that. So, me and my wife at the time basically took shifts
Yeah.
for years. She did night shift, I did day shift, and it was full time parenting.
That must be hard work. I don't know.
It's one of them. Like, even like the social worker at the time, like she fought for us for ages because they changed the criteria, so we were supposed to lose her help. And she fought for about 6 months to stay involved, and she was like she has no idea how we manage. She was like, well, you just have to. You kids, you
I,
don't.
I was going to say that. I mean, I was going to say something a bit trite there, like, for me, I don't know how you do it. But when it's your own kids, you do it.
You just do it. But
Yeah.
like I said, that did take its toll because, like I say, there was no personal life, there was no sort of relationship time. Like,
Yeah.
we might as well have high fived each other as we were hot men. It was, and obviously that ended up to leading to issues. But at the same point, even looking back, we did what we had to look after the kids.
I
So,
mean, how are the kids now?
my oldest is 10 and my youngest is 6.
Yeah. And how are they? Are they getting on okay?
Uh, it's complicated. They've still got lots of issues.
Yeah.
It's like one of them realistically needs to get put in a special needs school, and even the school's screaming for it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun without going into too much detail.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a mate of mine. He's just qualified as a mental health nurse,
Yeah,
and he works in a secure children's unit type thing.
yeah.
And some of the stories he tells me, I'm just like, fucking hell.
See, I
It's
think
scary.
with my three, if they were by themselves, they're quite manageable. You put them all three together, it's a whirlwind because they're not the same. A lot of
Yeah.
their personalities and sort of trigger traits clash against the other. It's yeah, it's fun.
So, I mean, you touched on earlier about your diagnosis for autism and
Yeah.
your own diagnosis for PTSD. And how did that come about?
So the autism was a bit strange. So during COVID, Gateshead Council made a special veterans mental health team.
Mhm.
So I got referred to there, and it started by phone calls, and then it got to the point where I was about to have the first face to face. Another phone call, she was I need to tell you something. I haven't been completely honest with you. I was like, okay. So she explained that she was ex-forces, that like she did the mental health thing there. She just turned out to be the ex-RF officer that dealt with me on the ground in Herrick 11. Who,
Small world.
yeah. And so obviously we did the whole sort of catching up of the time frame, and obviously she could see all the different treatments I've been having. None of it is working. And she basically has to go through my med records. And obviously, with the history and the trust, I gave them to her. And I spent my whole life thinking I was dyslexic.
Yeah.
And it turns out at my earlier part of being posted in cataract, I could never pass my level 2 English. Just couldn't do it. I got sent for a dyslexia exam. And it turns out that came back as showing more signs of autism than dyslexia, but no one told me, no one follows through, no one chased it up.
Hmm.
Shock.
Yeah.
And she literally went, I will place money on it, that's why none of your mental health treatment's working. She went, I bet you're wired slightly different. So
Yeah.
put it in perspective. So I got rushed through St Nick's in less than 2 months and came back with a diagnosis of ADHD and ASD, but under the bracket of what they used to class as Asperger's.
Okay.
But you can't call it that anymore because a fucking Nazi named it, and heaven forbid.
Why can't you call it Asperger's anymore?
Because a Nazi made up the terminology Asperger's, and like people get triggered. Yeah.
Oh, fuck 'em.
Well, I had an argument.
I only noticed that. I can't think of anything else.
Well, I basically put autism under one big umbrella instead of lots of little
Yeah.
segments. So it's just ASD. It's like instead of saying you got the logistics and the engineers, you're just the army. That's how they've done it.
Yeah.
You're in the army.
Ah, fucking hell.
But that,
I mean, it's not a big thing, but it's to me, it's like you're changing shit just because one
well, my
person gets
argument
upset or
for it
whatever.
is if you renamed everything that some dickhead named or an arsehole named, we would have no names.
Yeah. Literally, yeah.
But that to me was massive. That diagnosis.
Did it? I mean, right. So I interviewed a guy, and if you go back and listen to my podcast about
Give us two.
right. So as I was saying then, if you go back and listen to one of my podcasts from about a month ago,
Yeah,
I interviewed a guy. I mean, he's in his 70s now,
yeah,
and he had he puts it a very strange military career. He started off in the artillery, ended up in the Pay Corps, and this, that, and
yeah,
the other. And all through his own life, he was like you. He felt a bit of an outsider. He didn't really want to. I wouldn't say interact with people, but as the way he puts it, he's like he doesn't have close friends. He doesn't have.
yeah.
He has mates,
But say
stuff
for
like that.
example, like the second I joined the army, I lost contact with everyone I grew up with. The second I left
Okay.
the army, I lost contact with everyone I was in the army with. Like it's like
But I think that's quite normal. I mean, that was the same for me, really.
no, but
So yeah,
that's across the board. Like
yeah,
it wasn't like it was almost like they didn't exist, like to the
yeah,
extreme.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
And since the diagnosis, that's one of the things I've realised. So that's why I've got back in contact with people like Stretch and a few others because there's a lot of things that's made sense of how I function and operate. So now I've tried to do little things. Like I
Well,
say,
that's what I was going to lead on to. So what he did is he knew there was something kind of wrong with him.
yeah,
Um, so he pushed for a diagnosis during lockdown, and when he was
yeah,
getting on, I mean, he goes the way he said it because it's not going to change who I am. I'm not going to be able to get treatment for it as such. Because is there treatment for whichever end of the spectrum you're on, or whatever. He could understand it more himself and deal with it
yeah.
type of thing. Is that like? I mean, you just basically said the same thing
Yeah,
there.
see, the issue I'm finding in general is a lot of people use different diagnoses like PTSD, autism, anything like that. They use that as an umbrella to be a dick.
Yeah,
Like, so, like, the
yeah,
second you get any condition, that is your excuse to be an absolute dick. Oh, sorry, I've got this condition. No, you're still a
yeah,
dick. And like I say, a lot of the sort of the big thing that I clicked onto is there's been quite a few times where something's happened and my reaction has been ridiculously over the top proportion wise for what's happened.
yeah,
So, for example, on my last tour, I'd finished my jobs. It was a summer tour, and one of the other groups was busy working away, clearing the inside of the fuel tankers, like there's in the cabs. So I went off to help, and I spent 4 or 5 hours inside this Oshkosh, no aircon, middle of fucking Afghan summer, scraping dried off sand off the dashboards with a Gerber. It was hot, it was shit, and we had this, I think it was a corporal, Lance Corporal, who I saw walking towards the vehicle I was in from the other side of the vehicle park, and one of the other lasses who was doing that job had finished and started helping me. And I said to her, I went, she's going to come over it and kick off. Because she just had that walk, I sensed it. The second she opened the door, instant kicking off at me, why aren't you done yet? Absolutely rip me a new one. And I'm not going to lie, I point my rifle at her and went, get the fuck out my face.
Yeah,
Which,
probably top.
which,
Yeah.
which, as much as maybe kicking off back at her, because at the end of the day I was trying to help her section out because I'd finished my jobs, and I don't know, maybe calling her a fucking dickhead or something would be responsible, or it would be proportionate.
Proportional, yeah.
Where me literally exploding and go, get out my face now before I fucking do you, isn't like that. And there's been lots of incidents, not just in the army, but over my life, where my responses and reactions to certain things don't add up. And same as whether it's relationships and all sorts of other bits. The diagnosis explained it. And like I say, I can't change what's happened.
No.
But
you
now,
can understand it, yeah.
But yeah, I can understand it. And now, since I've got the diagnosis, I've tried to do little things to put bridges. It's like I hyper focus on things. And say, for example, I'm in a pub and I like tattoos. I'm doing an apprenticeship. If I see some little blonde lass on the other side of the bar with a tattoo, I'll hyper focus on it. So from her perspective, all she sees is a big grizzly tattooed bloke eyeballing the fuck out of her from the other side of the bar. It's quite intimidating. So either she'll shit herself or her fellow will get involved. It causes a problem.
Yeah.
Where now, if I realise I'm doing it, I'll do the really uncomfortable thing of go over and go, look, I don't mean to stare at you. I'm hyper focusing. This is the reason why. And so far, it's always gone well.
Do you get to get a closer look at the tattoo, though? That's the main thing.
Well, normally they end up showing me them because I've gone through it all. But stuff like that, the hyper focusing, like I didn't realise I was doing it.
Yeah.
Whether it was a good thing, a bad thing. Where now now I'm aware of it. I'm trying to do little things like that. Because, like I say, walking up to some random person I've ever met and saying, I don't mean to be like staring at you. I don't mean to be intimidating or freaking you out and looking like a creep in the corner. This is the reason why is quite an uncomfortable thing to do. However,
yeah,
implementing that compared to, I don't know, her, 6'6" steroid meathead of a boyfriend sees me doing it, takes offence to it, and comes over and starts a fight, isn't really what you want either.
Yeah. I mean, you said something there about, all the different, like, diagnoses and his fat and stuff like that. And, I mean, I found out on I'll say in the last year or so, because I've become more involved in social media, let's say.
Yeah.
Before that, I just watched the odd fucking video on there and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Facebook, you keep in touch with people through Facebook. Never bothered with Twitter or Instagram or anything.
I do
like
Instagram,
that,
but just that
but
Facebook.
it's the amount of people who identify
Yeah.
with ADHD and I'm on the spectrum. Oh, so what's your diagnosis then? Oh, I'm undiagnosed. And you're
Yeah.
just like, well, then you're not, then are you?
Exactly.
And
But even the ones that
people
are
use it as an excuse.
but
Yeah,
even the ones that are diagnosed, like I know several people that I tolerate due to being friends with them for years that say would go out on a night out, act a complete tit, be absolutely horrible to everyone. Everyone go, sorry, I had a freak out. This was happening. No, you do it every weekend. You're just a dick.
yeah,
There's a difference between someone who actually then is triggered in a situation and freaking out. And I think the big thing for it it is the approach of it's not an excuse, but if you can understand and implement things to help you, because if anything, the things I've been implementing helps me.
yeah.
Yes, okay, it helps the people around me, but primarily it helps me. And also, unless it's a conversation like this, I don't run around going, "Hi, I'm autistic, Josh." Like it's not my personality, but is a part of me.
I mean, I think I've been a bit harsh on people who say, who identify as undiagnosed autism or undiagnosed fucking ADHD or
No,
undiagnosed.
but there is a lot of it though, and
There is a lot of it, but I, again, now that I've become more aware of the traits of things, and we've experienced it in my family as well recently. we're going through that for the
See,
diagnosis for
I think
someone.
the issue is, I think there is a lot more things like autism and PTSD out there, and because of lack of awareness, a lot of people haven't been getting treated, haven't been
Yeah.
diagnosed. So obviously there is a massive influx on it. The issue is the people, the people that are causing the stigmas are the people that are getting diagnosed or pretending to be diagnosed, and then using
And
that as
use
an
it as an
excuse.
excuse, yeah. I
But
mean,
like I say, you could. I know people with really bad PTSD that could struggle in public. But if they're going out in public, say even if they go say to the job centre for a meeting, they've pre-warned whoever they're meeting with that they struggle with that environment.
Hmm.
They've then tried to implement a way where they can go straight in and don't have to be in the public holding area and go into a quiet room. They also take someone with them from a veterans charity or somebody who they are comfortable around, so they can manage to physically get there, and then they then still turn up, still do the appointment, even if they can't cope and have to leave early. That is very different than turning up and just making a scene because you have
Yeah.
this issue, which goes back to you can have whatever issue you want. Either you use it as an excuse or you
Deal with
you
it. Use it as a superpower as well.
deal with it. Yeah,
Yeah. I
because it
mean,
was
it's the question I've got for you now then is, so you got help with your diagnosis and stuff like that.
yeah.
So what initially made you reach out to? I mean, I think you mentioned you went to the RBL first, or
So obviously throughout the military, I've done I can't remember what they call it these days, but I've been in and out their mental health system since that incident happened. And when I came out, I'd sort of done a bit with combat stress, but because of my home situation with the kids, I couldn't commit to their in-house course because I think it was like 6 weeks in-house up in Scotland somewhere. Like with the family situation, I can't do that. So I've been in and out, sort of talking therapies, this, that, and the other, and the family dynamic basically took its toll, and we ended up separating, but living in the same house for I think it's 3 or 4 months.
Hmm.
She had mentally broken over time and been worn down and basically just mentally broke and went on. I'll call it a self-destructive rampage for a period of months, which I'm not going to go to the ins and out, but obviously had a big effect on me, even when we then got back together.
Hmm.
After a little while, I started to notice that I was getting more snappy. I was getting, especially say with the kids, like I was shouting at them for little things, and it wasn't in proportion. I realised obviously that my mental health was struggling. At this point, well, I wasn't sure. No, yeah, I had the autism diagnosis. That's why I'd started picking up on things. So I reached out to the RBL with I'm not coping with my mental health. I need some help because it's now affecting obviously my family, the kids, that sort of thing. Uh, they came back to me within 45 minutes and went, "No, we think you're in a completely different situation. You need to leave your home." Is the easiest way I'll put it.
Hmm.
So I put it off because I wasn't just walking out with the kids then and there. But through them, I then got involved with the support networks within the local council, and the original plan was they were going to find me a property, and I was basically going to transition straight into that so I could continue instant support for the kids, but remotely. Because my big thing was, if I've got to do this for me, I've got to do it with the least amount of impact on my kids who aren't, let's say,
Yeah.
normal kids because they've got additional needs. Um, and then I think it was Easter school holidays. It all erupted with me and her, and without getting into it, I just went, "Look, I'm done." Like, I didn't say why. I just went, "Look, I'm done. I'm not coping with my mental health. I'm done." So I contacted the council, and I basically technically ended up homeless, but ended up in emergency accommodation, which was basically a terrible version of a travel lodge for about 9 months, 6 to 9 months.
You know.
Um,
Yeah, I couldn't handle. I could handle that.
that came with also issues. Like I ended up getting treated for malnutrition because you didn't have a fridge, you weren't allowed a microwave. All you had was like a little travel kettle. You had no way of storing food. The average meal in this place was 20 quid, but I was getting £230 on benefits a month. So obviously that doesn't stretch long. To do a bag of washing was 20 quid. So yeah, obviously I ended up living off pot noodles, but over that amount of time, I ended up basically going to the doctors going, I'm shitting green, like army green, and they went, yeah, your organs are shut down.
Fucking hell.
And then got put in a temporary flat for a few months, and then that's how I ended up getting the tattoo apprenticeship. Long story short, and then I ended up getting the flat that I'm in now, which
I mean,
is
what got you into the tattoos? I mean, fucking cool.
so.
But
When I was in the temporary flat, so after I left the emergency accommodation, there was a pub on the other side of the car park, and I was having a really shit day. And my plan was to go in, have a couple of pints, and then go jump off the Time Bridge.
right.
But I'd had enough. But I went in, and the best way to describe it is it's a raggy bar. It's a rough bar, to put it nicely.
Some of them are the best, though.
Yeah, and obviously, but obviously, middle of Gateshead raggy bar, I stick out like a fucking sore thumb. So I sat in the corner halfway through my first pint. I went outside for a tab, and the last that's the DJ there, fucking 2 foot nothing, fucking miss attitude. Love it a bit. We're good friends now. Basically, went, right, what the fuck's your story then? And I was just standing there with time about caught off guard, so I fucking
Yeah.
briefly trauma dumped the fuck on her. Then she went, well, in this fucking pub, you don't sit by your fucking self, you'll sit with us. So I got roped into all them. Obviously, didn't end up doing anything stupid, but I started going there regularly. And one time I went in with my
Does
old.
she know she probably saved your life?
Oh yeah. I've
Yeah.
told her that. And one time I went in, I had my Help for Heroes band of brother hoodie on. I was speaking to one of the regulars there, and he was like, "Oh, like, were you in the army?" So I went, "Yeah, yeah." He went, "Army. My nephew owns a tattoo shop over the road. He's ex-army. You should pop in, say hello." And obviously, drinking chat. Yeah, of course we will. Whatever.
Yeah.
I ended up doing it, and popped in, booked a tattoo, and me and Av got on really well. He's ex-Light Lagoons. He got blown up in Afghan. He's got as many issues, if not more, as me, but we clicked really well.
Yeah.
And when I first got this flat, I had fuck all. I had an inflatable mattress that the upstairs neighbour had given us. I had no curtains. I had absolutely nothing. But if I wasn't going to see the kids, I had no reason to get up and function.
Hmm.
So basically, I just sat and wallowed. Like, I wouldn't get up, I wouldn't have a wash, I wasn't really eating, like I wasn't taking care of myself. And I've clicked onto it, and he would ring me up, going, "Oh, I've not heard from you a few days. What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just sitting in the flat." He went, "Oh, tell you what, fucking come down the shop, just the tattoo studio, come sit with us, have a bit of a chill, and all the rest of it." And I started doing that. And when I started getting bits for the flat, we'd been on the drink all night, and he lived over in Jarrow, which is an expensive taxi.
Yeah.
So I went, "Fuck that shit, just come stay at mine." Because I went, we both could go down in the morning, it'd be fine. And the Warhammer that I mentioned to you, I've got one of the figures that I painted on a shelf in my living room.
Mm.
It's like a big demon thing. Took me like over 20 hours to paint, but I entered it into a competition. And he saw it, he was like, "Fucking hell, that's mint, this, that, and the other." Obviously, him being a tattoo artist. And I went, "Oh, yeah, I painted it." He was like, "Fuck off, did you?" I went, "Yeah, yeah." I showed him all the stuff. And he was like, "Why don't you tattoo?" And I went, "I can't draw a fucking stick, man." I went, I might be able to fucking colour in between the lines, but I can't draw for shit. And over about 3 month period, every time we went drinking, he kept bringing it up and bringing it up and bringing it up. And obviously, with being told medically I'm not allowed to work and be on benefits, I didn't have a lot of extra income. Like I think after my basic bills were covered, I was left with about £7.
Mental, isn't it?
And the first time I had my children stay over here for the weekend, the first time they did it, but I said to my daughter, I went, "Oh, what do you want to do?" I went, "We can have a takeaway, or we can go to soft play the following day." And she basically went, well, I want to do both. I couldn't physically afford to do both, which obviously, from a parent point of view and a man, sort of hit home and hurt a bit. So I sat down with Aunt and went, obviously he knows I'm all about my medical stuff and all the rest of it. I went, are you serious about this opportunity? I went, because if you are, I went, well, I've not got a lot, but I'll go balls to the walls and put everything I can into it, because it's probably the only opportunity I'm going to get where someone will employ me with all my mental health, with all my physical issues, and that could be the difference between having my kids stay at mine and having that extra money to get a takeaway or to go to soft play or take them to the cinema, which I'm not going to have otherwise.
Yeah.
And he went, yeah, and I spent almost a year sitting in the corner of the tattoo studio with a learn to draw basic skulls and roses guide. And obviously then went on to stuff like fake skin and tattooing myself, and then done a few free on friends and sort of slowly built up and built up, and then officially became part of the team as an apprentice, and obviously building through there. Obviously still got a very long way to go. Because like I say, it has ups and downs with everything. But like I say, obviously with my physical issues, even McDonald's wouldn't employ me, because if I can't guarantee I'm going to turn up, because if I'm physically having a bad day, like, it's my last chance of actually having proper employment.
It's independence as well, and you're not relying, like you say, you're not relying on other people. You're not.
Yeah, and like I say, obviously laid it all out for him, but he just went, don't give a fuck. But like I say, he's ex-Light Dragoons. He'd done all sorts of different stuff, and he just had that mentality of, fuck it, we're doing it. Like I say, like, I ended up getting a loan from one of my old corporals who got proper med discharged. Got a £2,000 loan off him to buy my basic equipment that I needed. That I spent a year and a half paying back in dribs and drabs to chase it. Yeah, and then
I
here
mean,
we are.
what's the next? I mean, forgive me for having a serious lack of knowledge about tattooists. And they have. I mean, I've got tattoos. I've got a couple, not many, and they were
Yeah,
done 30 years ago. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Christ, I've got a Playboy bunny on there. It was the first tattoo I ever had. It was done by my mate with an electric
See,
toothbrush.
that was my first one. 18, came home
Yeah.
weekend leave. Was like, I want that one off the wall.
I've basically, I think we were pissed up night before exercise. He wanted to be a tattooist. He actually left the army. He lives in New Zealand now, shortly
Oh,
tech,
nice.
and he is a tattooist, a very good one.
Yeah,
Um, but he wanted to be a tattooist then, so he was like, so he was like, "Well, come here. We'll go around." We went around this quarter.
yeah,
I said we might have been a bit drunk, and
just
he
a little bit.
basically got a biro out and drew a Playboy bunny, and then he
Yeah,
pulled out a pressure cooker, stuck some needles in it, and they were attached to an electric toothbrush.
yeah,
So the tattoo was done with an electric toothbrush, you know. You can't fucking read it now. I'd be naming a Playboy bunny. It
oh,
just looks like a mass now, you
yeah.
know, 40 years later or whatever. But so, like I was saying, forgive me for not having the knowledge. Is there a series of qualifications that you have to
Um,
gain, or is it just anyone can do it?
it's predominantly an apprenticeship, and it's all to do with whoever's training you.
Yeah,
So, from the legal point of view, I've already paid for my certification through the local council. I am technically, on paper, certified to tattoo anything.
yeah,
But obviously, with the apprenticeship, obviously, you go through the stepping stones. You start off as an apprentice. Last not all apprentices do all the shit jobs. You start with certain simple tattoos, and then you build and build and learn different techniques. You do different bits, and then when you get half sort of consistent, you'll get upgraded to a junior artist, and then when you progress and you progress and progress, then you become a full artist. But there's no time frame. There's no like official qualifications and stuff like that. It's a lot of it is down to the people that are training you, and also I
but
think a lot of
it's word of mouth with a lot of tattooists as well. I mean, nobody wants to get a bad reputation because no fucker's going to go to them, innit?
yeah. Well, you find it varies. A lot of it is sales as well. So a lot of people will come back because it's you.
Yeah.
And they've enjoyed the experience with you. So I know, I'm not going to name it, but I know of a certain shop in the area that we keep getting a lot of people that had work off that person don't come through our door because the guy is just an obnoxious, stuck-up, horrible prick to everybody.
Mm.
So there's nothing even to do with his work. I've never seen any of his work, but he's just a not very nice guy.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of everything. And so like I say, but also I've been backdoored in. So obviously, a lot of people who normally do it, they've done sort of some kind of arty qualification that they've already got pre-made portfolios of the artwork they could do. They could already do art themselves, and they literally transition into learning to do art with different equipment. Where I've sort of got brought in, had to learn basic art, and then a lot of the stuff I'm learning with the tattoo equipment fundamentally before actually I could probably tattoo stuff a lot better than I can actually draw. I
Yeah.
can do the basic fundamentals, but the application side of it. So I've been completely backdoored on every level of it. I should be where I am now. Um, realistically, but like I say, they took a leap of faith in me, and
And it sounds like it's paid off for them because I mean, if they're you're actually tattooing people.
yeah. But like I say, it took a long time. I
Yeah.
think I went from probably a start of a year till about it was Halloween weekend was the first time I tattooed somebody because they were
Yeah.
that busy. So it took a long time. It's not, and like I say, with that, you're not earning any money. Like, I still had to pay to be there. I still had to pay to eat. Because I had to pay for all my own equipment because I'm not making the shop anybody. So they're not gonna. I'm not using their equipment, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But now I've got to the point where when I do make money, obviously the shop takes their cut, so therefore I can use most of their equipment and their needles and their cleaning stuff. When before I didn't have it, so that sort of first 9-10 months, that was very stressful financially, physically. But like I said at the start, when I sat down, said to him, I went, "If you're serious," I went, "I'll balls to the wall. Like this is probably the only opportunity I'm going to get. I'm going to give it everything." That's not me clean saying it. I've made mistakes. I've had times where I've been a bit stupid and stuff like that, and maybe not listen to advice, or I don't know, just in general. But it's been a constant slow build up, and I will get there eventually. Just don't ask me how long it's going to take to get there.
Yeah, but I mean, perfection takes a while, doesn't it?
Well, my boss has this saying: "It's hard work beats talent when talent takes a day off."
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's what I'm going for because I ain't got talent, but I'll fucking work hard.
I mean, what's the name of the tattoo shop? Because we might as well plug it.
Yeah, might as well. It's the Devil's Favourites in Gateshead.
Devil's Favourite at Gateshead, yeah.
Yeah, but also if I don't know when it's going on, but it's like I'm now in a position. So, have you heard of the Don War Memorial Museum?
In Stockton.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm tattooing there on Saturday.
Fuck's sake, I'm away this weekend. I'm
Well,
dying to go down there.
I've known Julie for years since her old bar. I used to do when I was in Catterick. I used to do like shoebox collections and shit for her.
I'm wanting to go down and interview her.
Yes, no, well, I
I've
I
spoke to
was
her.
going to speak, but you need like
Yeah.
she's not ex-army.
No, I know.
And she just does it for the fucking of it. And when I was homeless, all the rest of it, and I went to charities, and they've got to take their time and do paperwork. Because you make a phone call to her, and fucking she puts a shout out because she's done it for so long and so committed. It gets done. I don't know how much you got into the stuff that happened with Stretch.
A little bit.
So when I
We
first found
spoke
out,
about some of it, not a lot.
well, I'm not going to go with it, but when I first
Yeah.
found out what happened to him, she was one of the first people I rang to get stuff done because there is no red tape. She just has the community of support because of her commitment to supporting the military and the veterans out of the love for doing it.
Yeah. I
And
mean, I clocked them the first time online last year, and I was like, this place looks amazing. And
It
I'm
is.
probably like a lot of ex-squaddies who've seen it and they've just seen images of the bar or a quick video,
Yeah.
and they don't actually appreciate what goes on.
Yeah. Well, like
You
I
know,
said, I've not been to the new one, so this Saturday is going to be the first time I've been at the new one. But the old one was fantastic as well.
no,
It's obviously
I reached
this
out.
one's bigger and half a museum, so I'm
Yeah,
quite.
well, I reached out to her a couple of weeks back
Yeah.
and said, sometime over the summer,
Yeah.
I'm going to just turn up with my camper van, park in your car park,
Yeah.
come in, get pissed, and then interview you.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to throw a couple of lads
You
into coming
need to
down.
do it. I think
Yeah.
she's very, very undervalued.
Well, again, I mean, this podcast, and I say it to fuck everyone. It's not massive. There's not that many people listen to it. But
Yeah.
if we can get, like I said, then people look at the images of the place and stuff like that, they don't appreciate what
Yeah.
actually goes on there, and what she does for the community of people. Is to just get it out there. So
Yeah.
if one person listens to this, even this bit we're talking
Yeah.
about, and goes, "Fuck me, I'm going to look that up," and
But I think it's not
all
even
right, it's
that.
in Stockton, but you
I,
can't blame her for that.
I think she deserves the recognition because,
Yeah,
like I say, she does it just because she loves it and she loves us and what we've done and whether it's what we've been through or what we've not been through. Like she would give the clothes off her back for a veteran that was struggling
yeah.
and wouldn't ask twice. And yeah, she is just a fantastic, amazing person.
I mean, before we go, because we're getting on now for like an hour and 40.
Yeah,
Obviously, your plans for the future is to continue with your tattoo apprenticeship and become a master tattooist.
hopefully,
Um,
yeah,
I'll have to come down and let you practice on me. The yeah, the again, the way I've found you is through social media, through TikTok.
yeah.
If you just want to give us a quick 5-10 minutes on what was that like and why did you do that?
Why did I do TikTok?
Yeah,
It started with the miniature painting. Um, so when I was getting into it and give that a trial run, I happened to go on TikTok to sort of look for paint tutorials to sort of learn how to do it, and then you end up watching the same few people over and over again. You start messaging in the chat and all the rest of it, and there was a couple of people that I got on with, and one of them was like, I was like, "Oh, I've just done I finished my first model," and they were like, "Well, let us see it," and I was like, no." They're like, "How just upload a video, we can have a look," and obviously that grew from uploading videos to then like we would literally sit on an evening, a group of us all live streaming together all over the world. You're talking America, Australia, Helsinki, Portugal, all over the UK as well. All these different people sitting doing the same hobby together. It's like some of them that I'm really close friends with, and some of the best friends I've got, and I've never physically met them.
yeah, I
Uh,
get that. Yeah,
but we'd sit and all do it as a collective, and then we started doing like silly little painting competitions where me and another person would paint the same the same figure in 90 minutes, and then we'd sort of put it to an online vote to who won, and then we started doing like little silly charity fundraiser things and like 24-hour live streams. And obviously, when me and the wife split up, I took a step back from it, and I've set my modelling stuff up, but I haven't got back into it properly. But I already had that platform. So obviously, when I started the tattoo journey, I just sort of added on to. I've already got the platform. I might as well use it.
yeah. And how are you finding it? I mean, I've been
I, I
lucky.
I don't use it as much as I used to. Like I say, I used to be on every night live streaming with a group
Yeah,
of people. Now it's just sort of the odd video here and there. I want to get back into the model painting, but between kids and doing the apprenticeship, by the time I get in, I can't be asked.
that's fair enough. That's
Which
fair
kind
enough.
of annoys me because I've set everything up. I just need to sit down and start doing it. But I come in, I sit in this chair, and then I just start doom scrolling, or I can fall asleep.
Yeah, I'm the same. I should be sitting down every night, like editing these podcasts and probably making them look better or sound better or whatever. But
But it's like I've got a pile of laundry that I should be folding, but I've used you as an excuse not to do it. So cheers, mate.
not a problem. I'm exactly the same. I need to go put the washing machine on.
Oh yeah, I need to do that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like I said, we're coming to an hour and 40 there. I think we've quite progressed the way all through your life, and I
know.
wish you like the best of luck in the future with your tattooing.
Yeah.
I fucking. It sounds like it's not just like going to help you financially. It sounds like it's really helping you therapy wise.
Well, it is because it's given me a purpose outside the kids.
Yeah,
Which, like I say, it gives me a reason to get up, have a wash, get dressed. And also, I found similar to the painting the miniatures, it does help me mentally as well. So, but like I say, it was all a bunch of random coincidences that came together, and I shouldn't be here, but I am, so I'm making the most of it.
I say you say random coincidences. I don't really believe in fate, but sometimes people are there at the right time in your life.
Yeah, it's like one of them ones. I could choose not to put the effort in, or like actually try and make the best of the opportunity, and I wouldn't have got anywhere.
Yeah, but
So
sometimes you just need someone to fucking grab you. You know what I mean?
aye, well, that's it. Like I say, I know I've got lucky, but like even now, it's like this month I've been doing a Forces fundraiser through the tattooing. I'm doing obviously I'm at Julie's Dunbar on Friday. Sorry, Saturday. I'm basically doing a veteran flash sheet all day, and then half of my personal profits is getting donated to her. So
Yeah.
even where I am now, I'm trying to give back to those who've sort of helped me along the lines and do something good out of it as well.
No, I wish you all the best of luck with that.
Right,
Right, I want to stop the recording now.
great.
Again, I'd like to thank you for volunteering. I kind of press ganged you
Yeah,
for coming on and telling us your story.
yeah.
We enjoyed it. It's been really interesting.
I
And
might even watch it.
and I wish like I said, I wish you all the best in the future.
Oh, awesome. Cheers, mate.
All right, cheers, buddy.
Right, look out for yourself.
Uh, right, that's all right. I'll stop the recording now.
I was going to say, because I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that podcast. I enjoyed recording it. If you could just hit the like button, and also if you could subscribe and hit the notification bell, that would be great because it'll help the channel grow. The more people will see it, the bigger it'll get, and the more guests I can get on, and the more people I can talk to. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, like I said. Look forward to the next one. Hopefully, we'll be out next week as normal. Bye bye now.